Hello students, today we are going to learn the poem The Ant and the Cricket. The Ant and the Cricket is a fable by Aesop. What is a fable? A fable is a story that usually uses animals to teach a valuable life lesson. The story is typically short and states its moral at the end. Some of the most popular fables were told by a man known as Aesop, who was born a slave in Greece thousands of years ago. The Ant and the Cricket is a fable by Aesop. The ant is a very common insect that we see around. Haven't we watched the ants move in line carrying food? And what about cricket? Here we are not talking about cricket or the game. Instead, we are talking about cricket, which is an insect. Have you seen a cricket? Have you heard a cricket? Crickets are insects that make a chirping sound and are found usually in bushes. Here we have a picture of cricket. Sometimes when you listen during the nights, we could hear crickets chirping. Now let us look at the poem in detail. The Ant and the Cricket is a poem that is adapted from the fable of Aesop, which tells the story of a cricket. And this poem teaches us an important moral lesson. Now let us look at the poem. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So, the poem begins. We see a cricket. The poet calls it a silly young cricket, accustomed to sing. Accustomed means the cricket has a habit of singing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. Gay means happy. So when the sun is out and when it is summer and spring, when it's time to work hard, what does this young cricket do? It whiles away its time by singing. And what happens? He began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. And when the winter came, the cricket opened his cupboard for food and found that there was no food, and he started to complain. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. So he went out in search of food, and not a crumb. Crumb means pieces. Pieces of food was found on the ground because the ground was covered with snow. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. It is winter, and you know when winter comes, all leaves and flowers fall. So there is not a flower, there is no leaf on any tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So now he starts to complain. There is no food. What will happen to me? I'll die of starvation, says the cricket. He starts to complain. He starts becoming sad. Let us look at the rhyming scheme. Here the word sing, we'll mark it as A. Begin spring. Spring and sing. These two words, they rhyme together. So we'll mark it as A. Home. Home does not rhyme with sing or spring. So we write it as B. We'll mark it as B. Come. Home, come. This sound the same. So B. Found. The word found, it does not rhyme with sing, spring, home, or come. So we'll mark it as C. Ground, S. It rhymes with found. So found and ground, C, C. See, tree, me. These three words, they rhyme together. So we'll mark it as D. So the rhyming scheme of the first stanza is A, B, B, C, C, D, D, D. Moving on to the second stanza. Now moving on to the second stanza. At last by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. So, after complaining and thinking about his future, what did the cricket do? The cricket, he goes to meet a miserly ant. At last by starvation. Starvation means extreme hunger. And famine. Famine means scarcity of food. These things made the cricket bold enough and all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold because of snow. He was trembling. He did not have clothes to wear. He did not have food to eat. Away he set off to a miserly ant. He went to a miserly ant. Miserly means a thrifty ant. An ant who does not give anything to anybody. A selfish ant. And why did he go? To see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. So he went to ask the ant whether he would give him shelter from the rain and a mouthful of grain to fulfill his hunger. He wished only to borrow. So the cricket planned only to borrow. Borrow means to get something so that he can give it back. He would repay it tomorrow. So when spring comes or summer comes, he would work hard and repay whatever he borrowed. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. If he did not borrow now, what will happen? He would die of starvation, die of extreme hunger and sorrow. Third stanza. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? God, the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and danced the winter away. And now, here is a conversation between the ant and the cricket. Why did the cricket come here? Come to the ant to borrow some food. And the ant replies. He says to the cricket, I am your friend, I am your servant. But ants have a policy. We never borrow, we never lend. We never borrow. We do not get anything from other people. Nor we lend. We do not give anything to other people. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? So the ant is asking a question to the cricket. Cricket, when the weather was good, didn't you collect anything and keep it safely for winter? Quoth the cricket. Quoth means said. It is Old English. Quoth means said. So the cricket said, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. The cricket replied, no, I did not collect food. I did not work hard. And what did I do? I kept singing day and night. For at that time the nature looked happy and I was also happy. So I spent my time singing and enjoying. You sang, sir, you say. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. So you sang during the summer and spring. Instead of working hard, instead of collecting food, and instead of storing food for the hard winter season, what did you do? You sang and you enjoyed. And the ant says, so now dance the winter away. I'm not going to give you food. I'm not going to give you food or shelter. While away your time by dancing and enjoy the winter. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. So what did the ant do? Thus saying or thus telling the cricket to dance away the winter, he hastily, with speed, he lifted the wicket. He opened the door and turned the poor little cricket. He sent away the poor little cricket. He opened the lock of the door and asked the poor little cricket to go away. And now at the end, the last 2 lines, the poet tells us, folks call this a fable. Usually folks meaning people. People usually call this a fable, this a story. But the poet says, I will warrant it true. I'll guarantee you that it is true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. So now the poet is telling that there are crickets with 4 legs. There are also crickets that have 2 legs. Here he is meaning the human beings who do not work hard. Instead, while away their time when opportunities are there, and then afterwards they cry for help. So the poet says, this may be a story, people call it story, but there are human beings who are like crickets, who do not work hard, who do not grab their opportunities, who do not use their opportunities, use their time, and while away their time, and later they crib and cry. So this is the moral of the poem. We should not be like the cricket who enjoyed during the summer and spring when it was the time to collect food. We need to work hard so that we'll be able to survive when there is hardship in life.